Yo! How we doing today, chat? We better be doing good. Oh no, Moto. Oh, I see. Good evening from Germany. Guten Abend. I probably said that horribly. Let's find out.
Guten Abend.
Yeah, I did that bad. That's what I tried to say, though. I tried. Yeah, let me see real quick. This is called Irish Celtic Fiddle Music, Beautiful Views of Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. That's the name of the MP3 that we're using. It's about an hour long, so it has a lot of different tracks. That was almost on point. Oh, thank you. Hello, Festiva. I saw your little preview on Twitter. Alright, I think we're 5 minutes from the hour mark, so we can do the waiting room.
In the anime underworld, crimes against the culture are considered especially heinous. In Otaku City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these violations are part of an elite squad known as the Special Weeb Unit. These are their stories.
I mean, that's fair. But I mean, I didn't reveal, I just pointed it out. That's what I did. Yeah, I think we have a couple new things here. Oh, here's a good one.
Literally all mushroom foraging be like scrumptious orgasm toadstool. Tastes like gas station ramen. Irresistible texture comparable to that of a bike tire. If you fry it for 3 hours in garlic, it kinda tastes like garlic. Obscenely rare. Omega AIDS death fungus. Easily mistaken for the delicious scrumptious orgasm toadstool. Check its genome in a DNA sequencer to tell the difference. A single bite causes your jaw to fall off and makes you violently shit blood until you die. If you take half a microgram, you could experience a very mild high. Slightly more. See above.
Ooh, we can have a little bit of long bottom leaf. You don't need to think about all that. We don't need to think about all that harsh stuff. The world is changing, but the Shire will always remain the same. I won't forget this.
Michael, you have to take responsibility here. One of your employees had a heart attack. He could have died because of the way you're allowing your office to
What's
run.
up,
Do you want that
everybody?
on your conscience?
Do you?
Michael?
Do you?
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
Talk to me. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for trickling on in here as we start our Elfpire React stream. We have a lot of things to be reacting to today, but before we do any of that, let's turn down the freaking background music just a bit. There we go. Alright, and now let's say hi to the people who have been chatting so far. Welcome to the chat, Meteoric, Magma Fox, Nico Fox, Medieval C, JP Ravenfire, Ferocian Maximus, a Lion Fan, Festiva, Patrick Bowser, Any the Cat, Ike 13D, Didi Kiki Ferono, I'm not a oh my god, whatever. What, thank you for being a member of Edge 900 for 2 months. Sparky Set Corner, welcome. Hawkeye. And Lion Fan, thank you for being a member for 3 months. Look at that. We have a whole bunch of people being awesome today. So much for, but more likely you'll hurt your liver and kidneys. Yeah, don't eat that mushroom. I forget what that mushroom specifically is called. I think that's... Hold on. What is the red and white mushroom called? There it is. Okay, it's Flyagiric. Amanita muscaria. It's a distinctive mushroom with a bright red cap covered in white warts, also known as the fly amanita. While it's one of the most recognizable fungal, it's also known to be poisonous or psychoactive. Afternoon best remedy. Yep. I just looked it up real quick because I could not help myself, chat. I'm so sorry. Alright, so we have a few things to be reacting to today. Including a quick set of fast facts from Legal Mindset. So we are going to do, we have one from just a few hours ago, one from 2 days ago, and one from 2 days ago. These are fast facts, so they're just, quick little snippets, from his, VODs and his streams and stuff. I highly encourage everybody here. Hold on. If you want to support his coverage of all kinds of stuff, because we have a few things that he's covering. But there's a link to donate to him. Seriously, he's awesome and he's doing a lot of really cool stuff. Right now I think we're going to start it with Ethan Klein's copyright trap. Posted 2 days ago. This is only 8 minutes long. And this has been said a lot on Twitter and stuff. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's entrapment. Oh, you can't set up the, like, absolutely, Ethan Klein is within his rights to sue. Even if he knew somebody was going to violate his registered copyright, that's like all the more reason for him to register his copyright. But Legal Mindset breaks it down very nice, very concisely, and we're going to go ahead and do that right now. So let us turn off that music. Get this going. Alright. Miss Skittles, welcome to the chat. Little bit loud, hold on.
Ethan Klein has sprung a copyright trap against some reaction channels which reacted to his content nuke of Hassan Piker. But will it work?
Mr.
We're going to get
Gamer,
into it
what's
today.
up?
Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney living in Asia, and this is the Legal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. So let's get right into it. This is a really fascinating issue because it really brings up issue of copyright at large and how it's enforced on the internet on all platforms. This can have massive ramifications across really every single major streaming platform, whether YouTube, Twitch, etc. all of them have so many reaction channels, and this is a potential to affect really all of them, despite the fact it seems.
Yeah, look, I mean, guys, we are. I mean, I like to consider us more a commentary channel, but we do plenty of reacting. I mean, the name of the stream is Elfpire Reacts. But I try to pause frequently, and we usually end up like, we'll turn a video like this into twice its length and stuff like that. So that's more fair. But like these copyright cases. Oh, and I should actually mention something. I had asked Andrew about it. I had asked potentially on criminal and civil law, and I think it was on civil law, who pointed out to me that anti-slap does not apply here because a copyright case is automatically federal. So there's no federal anti-slap statutes in place. So the point that Mizu and I were making on the Wattism stream was completely irrelevant because he doesn't need to worry about getting past slap. So this is pretty much free and clear to get to discovery. And there's also my 3-strike rule, which adds to it. Yeah, that's true. But because copyright cases are federal automatically, even though it was filed in the Central District of California, it doesn't matter. It's a federal case. Anti-slap does not apply. It's going to get past that. So that is a correction that I would like to make. Everybody makes mistakes. Hashtag fruit. Meme. Okay. But there's actually a little something here too that I want to show you guys as well. Is this? Yeah, this will work. Hold on. Just doing this. Go to this recording. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Well, that's too damn bad. We have a response that's particularly funny to me. And the only reason why I'm showing it is because of how funny frick it is. But it's Caseytron. A Caseytron is trying to claim that Ethan doctored her into like the react footage that he submitted of her not reacting, and then she tries to blame her weed smoking like she doesn't remember reacting to it. It's pretty damn funny, and I'm going to tell her that deleting all your VODs isn't going to help because once this gets to discovery, they're gonna have access to that information. Oh, thank you so much for the 5. Again, I respect you and Mizu's steel manning, but these women are still too stupid and broke to defend this properly, even with Oh, well, here's the funny thing about the GoFundMe support, okay? So, if you donate to their GoFundMe, you're donated to Ethan, because that's where all that money's gonna go. But here's that clip that I was just telling you about.
Just because I didn't react to his stupid video, he had to make up that I did and put a video of me smoking weed over his stupid video to get attention. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck about your video. Like, I don't know. I don't recall reacting to it. I don't believe that I reacted to it. I do not remember. I don't know. I may have been under the influence, but I do not recall reacting to it.
Look, lad, you guys know, everyone here knows that I smoke a shitload of weed. I mean, not a lot, like not a ton, but I smoke, I don't know, like, what is it, 3 to 4 times over a stream, right? She smokes like, what was it, 42 times within that stream? So maybe there is some memory loss there. But I can't tell you a single time that I've ever smoked weed and just forgotten. Like, I've never lost hours of time to smoking weed. Like, oh God, what did I do the last 3 hours? This never happens. Oh, again, Nico, I've been extraordinarily, in fact, here, right now. Yeah. We're doing this. Because this is how stupid it is. Ask me a question in 30 minutes and I'll remember it. Because that's not how marijuana works.
Just because I didn't react to his stupid video, he had to make up that I did and put a video of me smoking weed over his stupid video to get attention.
it had to be laced if you forgot stuff. Like, absolutely. Alright, let's get back to the video. But yeah, that was Casey Tron's response to Ethan Klein's lawsuit, which is just hilarious to me. First of all, deleting VODs is not going to protect you from them getting a hold of that information. They'll have it in Discovery. Promise you that.
It's like it's targeted at just 3 people. So what's going on? Well, Ethan Klein recorded a content nuke of Hassan Piker in an ongoing feud between the two. Now, today we're not going to get into, the personal dynamics and all the subjective stuff of Ethan versus Hassan, etc. We're going to focus on the objective law and the bigger, broader issues at stake here. So with that content nuke, many people who did not like Ethan Klein went and reacted to his video. And some people did add very substantial, very lengthy commentary to that, but others simply...
Deleting this looks extremely fucking suspicious. And I will say this. The reason why Ethan isn't going after Hassan or XQC is because, one, XQC, I guess, added enough content, and transformed it enough, and 2, Hassan didn't even finish the reaction stream, and what he did react to took him 9 hours. I mean, that's pretty objectively transformative. It's more Hassan content than it is Ethan content. So these 3 just happen to be the ones who not only reacted to it, but actively encouraged people not to view the original video and to donate to them and give them the views instead. That speaks to malicious intent, which is not even a standard for copyright infringement. So I will give points to Ethan for showing restraint when it comes to suing other creators unless they show this clear malicious intent as his personal standard. Because again, there's plenty of people he could sue that he is choosing not to simply because they didn't show malicious intent like these 3 did.
Restreaming that content in order to prevent the views from coming to Ethan Klein. So in response to that, it turns out that Ethan Klein actually registered his copyright of that content nuke and is now suing 3 creators. And this is a really, really big deal because these reaction channels...
There are instances where I don't. For instance, there's a fast fact about Hey Glue that we're going to be reacting to today that was only released 3 hours ago. But before I even started watching the fast facts, I linked to Andrew's Ko-Fi. I suggest that you support him, donate to him, give him the watch, give him the sub, the follow, the notification bell, do all those things because it's important to promote the original video. Especially if you're going to react to it before the algorithm really has a chance to run it through the whole audience. So that's what we're doing.
Channels, while they're small in comparison, right? While they're small in comparison to Ethan and other very large channels, it can set a precedent which can echo across other creators and all platforms, really. And what's at stake
it was
is
absolutely. They did that's the thing. People are upset that Ethan left a trap. There's all these fucking problems, right? Now here's the problem that I have. The issue that I have is Ethan, California, which is a 2-party consent state. There's a couple ways that you can actually overcome the 2-party consent laws. One of which is if you believe the recording of the individual who did not consent to recording is going to help in uncovering a crime or criminal activity, you no longer are bound by the 2-party consent laws of California. Similarly, Ethan Klein registered this copyright 3 days before release because he knew people were going to infringe upon it. It happened to be 3 of the stupidest fucking people I've ever seen in my goddamn life, but it was these people. Now, I'm not going to put any blame on Ethan for properly protecting his lawfully copyrighted work.
Definition of what is transformative, what you can do to react to a video. Now, there have been several cases which have gone different ways. There have been cases where people have just re-uploaded videos and that hasn't worked, but there also are different cases where People have taken a video and clipped it and added a different title, a different thumbnail, and courts have said, hey, that's okay. And really, what are they looking at? What are they looking at is it a substitute? Are you substituting one for the
are you
other?
Subbing it?
And that's the real core of the question here today. Are these reaction channels, are these people reacting to Ethan, are these substitutes for Ethan's content? And beyond that, it appears that there may even be malice on the part of many of these parties who literally intended it to be for to be a substitute to Ethan's content, to his copyright protected content, and that is a top issue. Now, Ethan did say one thing which I need to clear up because there needs to be some baseline about what copyright is and what's going on with copyright. So let's listen to Ethan here talking about him registering that copyright, and I'll explain things as we go.
One thing about copyright you should know is that you got to register it before you publish to be eligible for statutory damages and attorney's fees, which is the main biting.
Nah, I could be wrong on this. I've already exposed that my knowledge on copyright law is currently lacking a little bit. But I'm pretty sure that there is a copyright that's automatically applied to any created work that you could use to get damages and stuff like that. Now, obviously, the courts are going to look at you registering your copyright with the Library of Congress being far better. It's going to just look far better for them. They're going to give you more, probably. You're going to have much stronger case in front of a judge if you register your copyright. But I think, and I might be wrong about this, but I think that created works in general. Oh, so you do have to. It has to be registered before you sue. Okay. So, could the infringement happen and then you register and then sue? These are questions I have.
Being force of a copyright infringement lawsuit. Well, I'm happy to tell you guys now. I, Ethan Klein, have registered Hassan Piker content nuke with the United States Library of Congress. Some of you guys out there sweating. One thing about copyright.
That's a really interesting fact. So one thing to clear up is you do have copyright protection as soon as you create a work. So if you create a piece of art.
Oh, thank God. Okay. I'm sorry. I was so fucking. See how unsure of myself I am right now? I'm pretty sure created what's have an applied copyright. But okay, yes, it does. Okay.
A book, etc., you have copyright protection. However, what Ethan is talking about is a prerequisite to suing. So even if you have already created something, you have protections that exist automatically as a requirement to sue, and especially to get those damages, yes, you're going to need to go through the registration process. So that's what he's speaking about here in terms of those damages. So while many people say that's not right, copyright's automatic. Well, no, what he's saying is correct, but he doesn't fill in the blanks with the fact that, you do have copyright as soon as you create something. And mind you, there are exceptions to that. For example, live broadcasts. Live broadcasts are an exception to the copyright rule for registration. So while there are holes in that and there are some exceptions, Ethan is generally right here. And what he did was he registered this copyright beforehand in order to later enforce that because he knew people were going to react to that. Now, some people have said this is a trap. They call him the Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. But really, the law doesn't care whether or not you set it up that way because, frankly, in the eyes of the law, you're just planning to enforce your copyright. If you knew somebody was going to steal something from you and you took a measure to protect yourself, that's not a trap. That's like calling a house alarm a trap against burglars because it calls the police automatically. That's not really what happens here, and that's not really a defense. And frankly, I think one of the biggest issues here is that all of these channels were making it very, very clear that you should watch them instead of Ethan. Now,
we actually have I wonder, I might be able to bring it up real quick actually. Hold on real quick. Let me see. Oh geez, that pause frame is pretty. That might be screenshot worthy, not gonna lie. Okay, hold on. H3. Creators. Alright. Simmer. Said I could find it.
They're stealing content.
Well, guys,
Here we are. Yeah. I actually sounded. I'm surprised I was able to find it so quickly, but I did watch this video with MizuhanaOshibe. Every Thursday we have a Loctism stream where we go over just law stuff in general. And this is where I reacted to this initially, but I at least found Denham's statement, like objectively stating that yes, support me, freak you for not supporting him. Like it's really bad, but here.
Themselves to admit that they're stealing content.
well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime. If you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here.
It turns out they just do it for you. You couldn't cook up a more incriminating statement if you tried.
Insane.
Denham's the
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's it. That's so freaking wild that she just said that. And again, Casey Tron and Frogan made similar statements that are just about as egregious, if not more so. So it's, Jesus, like, it's just really, like, she really, like, there you go, everybody earned it, right? That is what legal mindset means with his claw stream, where he looks freaking higher than I am. He's higher than Casey Tron right now. But that is what he means when they all had, like, malicious intent.
Thing to be really concerned about, and the problem I see coming out of this, if Ethan does prevail, is the chilling effect. That is the other channels that are going to be scared to do reaction content because of this. And beyond that, platforms may aggressively enforce against reaction channels. So there could be a massive movement, a massive wipe of reaction channels at large. And this could be really dangerous because it has the potential of a slippery slope of going too far. At what point is it transformative? Now, his argument is, well, if you get up out of your chair for, half of the stream or a significant portion of the stream, that's not transformative. Well, how much do you have to comment on? Is it 10%? Is it 20%? Is it 50%? Is it 75%?
Yeah, this is all...
That's really a hard thing to judge. And
yeah, and I see that's part of the issue, though, is that, like, this, when it comes to fair use and stuff, we need to come up with proper percentages. What is the amount of work that you need to present to? How often do you need to pause? How much do you need? Like, these are questions that need to be answered, but if you answer them too aggressively and too badly, platforms can overcorrect, and then all of a sudden, even channels like mine that do a lot of reacted commentary content could be at risk. Now, of course, if I were to get copyright claims and stuff like that, or like YouTube came knocking and said, hey, you can't do this, I would show them. I'm like, no, this is more than transformative enough. I'm willing to make my case, and I'm willing to take you to court over it. Now, that's something that I'm willing to do and able to do, but let's be real, not a lot of creators would be willing to, or would have the knowledge necessary to fight that. So it could be an issue. Now, Denham's is the worst. TC is just dumb and lazy. Frogan's could be mockery, but her statements on not giving Ethan credit sinks her. Yeah. Is it case-by-case basis ultimately with the court? Yeah. But Eva, if say I was a critic of a movie, it told people don't watch the movie, just watch my critique of the movie, then wouldn't I be protected since my work is transformative? Yes, but the problem is, it's not just your critique of the movie. It was, hey, thanks for not giving the original work any views. If you liked me just watching the content, like putting on the whole movie and calling it a review, give me money instead. That's the problem. Like, your statement is, yeah, sure, it's fine, but that's not where the line is here. Like, Denham's clearly met a malicious standard when it came to infringing on Ethan's copyrighted works.
And a judge in these cases, is doing it case by case, point by point. Now, I think Ethan does have a chance to prevail against these three creators, particularly because of the egregious things they said. Now, we're not going to get into this on the fast facts version. This is, of course, the quick and dirty version of my analysis. But if you watch my live on this, we're going to watch the entire video, the entire 20 minutes, which goes into what these creators did and how they went through their analysis.
Here, let me do this
but
real quick. So, real quick. Okay, check it out. So, on Legal Mindset's channel right now, and I'm going to link to it as well, because he just released a video of him reacting to the Ethan Klein via Hassan Orbit's lawsuit. So here we go. He trimmed it down to 30 minutes in his video version, but here you go. For anybody who wants to watch this in sincere appeal towards the wallet, thank you so much for a gifted membership. But there you go. That is the link to his actual reaction of Ethan Klein's thing. So yeah, there you go. Let me go back here. Because we're at the last couple minutes of this.
Safe to say that most of them did not do deep, lengthy, in-depth analysis. They mostly just sat there, watched, made a couple noises, grunts. Some of them were appearing to take bong hits during this, or smoking something during it. While that might, in the eyes of some, be quote-unquote transforming it in a way, whether a judge thinks that's changing it to something different that is not a substitute is the real question. And I think here Ethan has a very, very, very strong case to say, that's not a major transformation. You're not adding anything educational, entertaining, etc. It's really just you sitting there and trying to filter off his views. But what do you guys think in this? Once again, do you think this is something that might go Ethan's way? Do you think it's something that might go the way of the reaction channels? And do you guys enjoy reaction channels? Because I know some people think that they're content leeches. Some people think that the reaction channels are useless. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one.
All right, Andrew. I heard they catch you on the next one. That's mine. That's my line. You can't have it anymore. I'm so ain't that kidding. But yeah, go ahead and don't forget to like and subscribe to Legal Mindset. Also check out his reaction to the actual video, the Ethan Klein video. I linked it in the chat. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to Jesus. That was a 10-minute video that we turned into 30 minutes of content. Jesus. But this one is something I'm very interested in. It was 3 hours ago posted, and it says, Hank threatens Johnny Somali Critic. So obviously the answer is to entirely 100% AI generate the entire stream. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, here, let's go ahead and click play on this one. But apparently Hank is fucking crashing out. Like, he's crashing out bad, apparently.
Hank Yu, Johnny Somali, aka Ramzi Khalid Ismail's top ally, has made an insane threat against a channel covering Johnny Somali and Hank, and this is really wild. And frankly, it shows just how deranged Hank and Johnny are. Of course, this is a Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney living in Asia, dedicated to ending nuisance.
Realm review. You must be... Like, he's not at his place. He looks like he's at, like, okay, you can see my cursor. Like, look at this thing right here, right? Is he like in the islands or something? Because this feels more like, this feels more like island living.
Streamers crimes in Asia and across the world. And of course, bringing you this fast facts premiere video with new information in a short, brief version while I'm on vacation here in Thailand. Of course, you can see this is not my normal studio. I'm in the lovely tropical islands in Thailand. I'm taking a little break.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I thought
something
he was
that
on
Johnny
a-
Somali, Ramsey
I could
Clint
tell
Ismail
this is
cannot do.
Island
Neither can Hank, by the way. They can just sit in a small apartment in Seoul, South Korea together while others enjoy their lives and go about doing things that normal people do. And normal people certainly don't make the types of threats that Johnny Somali and Hank make. Now, I'm no stranger to
he's
these
in
threats.
Thailand.
I've received several death threats myself from Johnny, from Hank,
Yeah, he
from
has.
their allies, and they haven't been just been aimed at me. They've been aimed at my friends, my family, my mother, my business partners.
Yeah, so it's happened before, and I'll mention it before. My fucking shout out to my mods, because they handled it so well. But one of the times we were covering just some fast facts with Andrew Esquire, we had a member of the Somali Stupidity Team, the SSA, or the Somali Stupidity Agency, the SSA. Go into my chat in Discord and just start spamming slurs. Now, he was handled in literally seconds, and it was so well handled that I didn't even know about it until after the stream. But yes, like, Johnny, his orbiters, his friends, they'll attack anybody who even tries to cover this content. Like, I can speak from personal space, yes, that this is something that's happened. Andros also had to give me a warning about some creeper guy, like, who was trying to make a document, and I guess he was looking into me and stuff like that. Oh, doesn't matter. It's not gonna deter me any more than it would deter Andrew, but it just means that, Andrew's right over the target in terms of coverage here, and that's why they're shooting up so many flak, and they're attacking anything related to the coverage. Yeah, he's cupping and seeding, big time.
And they've even contacted people I work with, people I know, and tried to get me in trouble, tried to say lies to them, spread defamation. And the general rule is to ignore these people. But this is one that is worth calling out. This is one that's worth pointing out just because it's absolutely deranged and just because it shows that it's not just me, other people.
I mean, that's kind of my thing too right now. Again, sorry about the pause frame. But, like, usually we do just ignore this kind of stuff, so for him to actually be talking about it and, like, pointing it out, like, Hank had to have said something particularly egregious.
People are also catching flack. So this creator is 15 Minutes of Shame, and they've done some coverage on Johnny Somali. They, of course, cover other topics and other people. But Johnny and Hank are particularly unhinged, and they tend to lash out. And this is pretty clear lashing out. So here we have, this is courtesy of Johnny Somali on X. But here we have a screenshot from Steam. Now, this was verified independently by a video that shows this is legit. This is not doctored. This is 100% real. So that's why I feel confident covering this and confident talking about this. But you see this individual, Adrius, is talking to Hank, and his logo there, his nickname is Hank the Tank. He also uses that for his YouTube channel. Of course, he is anything but a tank. He is a paper mache tiger. But anyways, he sends over a video of 15 Minutes of Shame and says, why is this guy keep pulling this up in his video? So he's talking about, a video where Hank is mentioned. Hank the Tank says, 15 Minutes of Shame is absolutely obsessed with me. And the guy responds, yeah, I saw that. And then he says, LMAO, MF needs to be, and I'm just going to use the word deleted because I want to keep it YouTube friendly. But you can see in that last line, it's a clear threat towards this creator. This is something that's absolutely something that normal people don't say. Normal, regular people don't say things like that. Of course, as we know, Hank is not a normal, regular person. This is a person with a criminal...
Hank with the the butt steak.
Criminal record. He was caught breaking and entering and attempted robbery when he was younger. He was convicted of several firearm-related felonies and ejected from the United States. He lost any possibility to ever be a permanent resident of the United States.
It's kind of funny. Like people forget a lot. Like Hank Wu's background. But like his background's pretty freaking insane too. Like I forgot about it until Andrew just quick rattled off his what we've known him to have been done and been ejected from the country for.
United States because of those felony charges. He lost all of his appeals, which he appealed all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States, which denied him. So he's been fully denied out of the U.S., cannot go to the U.S. at all because he is a criminal. And that's something that is just straight up factual. I've showed the data. It's all there on Hank. And of course, this is the type of person that houses and shelters Johnny Somali, Ramzi Khalid Ismail, for the past year as he committed crimes and continues to commit crimes, including new crimes, which he's been reported to police on, including one specific crime for which I believe Hank was very mad. And Hank brought this up because he's very mad that he is involved with Johnny Somali in one of the particular instances, which we have seen he is reported for child sexual harassment under the Korean Child Welfare Act.
That's right.
And that's very serious. And I think Hank knows that he's under pressure, he's under scrutiny, he's being investigated by police. And because of that, Hank is freaking out. Hank is losing it right now. And that's why he felt the need to threaten people. Now, I'm going to give you the real news because, of course, while I report on Johnny Somali, I'm very fair and I give you the truth and just my take on this, in conversation with South Korean lawyers and in conversation with people who know the law in South Korea. The reality of the matter is Hank will not face criminal charges for this in Korea. Now, I know others have brought up that potentially, if this was all in Korea and all the parties were in Korea, this could be some sort of intimidation or threat or attempt. Who knows? But they're not in Korea. And that's reason number one of two reasons why this is not going to go forward. Korea does not like to prosecute, and many countries, not just Korea, many countries do not like to prosecute international threats like this, threats that are across national borders, particularly countries that are far away like Korea and the United States, and particularly as his creator who said he lives in New York, and I'm not exposing that, he said he lives in New York in the United States. He doesn't live in Korea. He doesn't have an apartment in Korea. He doesn't study in Korea. He doesn't work in Korea. He has no connection or ties to Korea. He's not been going.
Yeah, it was a threat made by somebody living in Korea to somebody living in New York. It was made over Steam. Yeah, like just jurisdiction-wise over the true severity of this, right? Like it's international threat. Like how are you actually going to do this? Now, if Stanford taken to actually take him out, I'm sure it would be a different story. But this is just dumb people saying dumb things. He shouldn't watch what he says, absolutely. But he's not going to face any kind of justice for this. Friend 560, welcome. What up? Have y'all seen my PNG Alpha round? I miss her. Yeah, I haven't used that bottle in a minute.
Going to Korea recently, he has no reason to believe that he's going to be there where Hank could take action on this threat in Korea. And law enforcement looking at that is going to say, yeah, it's bad, but, you know, it's not something we're going to independently take action on. Now, if other charges are brought against Hank, that is something that could be used against him to show his character and his general demeanor and how he's unhinged, etc. But right now, they're probably not going to take action on this independently. The second thing is that Hank is banned from America. So there's not really a way for him to go to America and independently take action on this. And I know you're saying, okay, they can have minions and the minions could do it. Yes, that is theoretically possible.
There we go. Okay, so Lucky Limes, you won. Well, if he had felonies, maybe he also has crazy friends in America. Luckily, this is a theory that Andrew also approaches, but like you have to approach this with like what's the reasonable chance that this could happen? And I'm sorry, I don't think Hank has many friends in America capable of enacting his revenge.
I know you're saying, okay, they can have minions and the minions could do it. Yes, that is theoretically possible. However, it's highly unlikely. And to be honest, let's be real for a second. All the people that support Johnny and Hank, they're dimwits. They're nobodies. They're basement dwellers. They live with their mother. They have no money. They're losers. All of these people are completely impotent. And that's why when they've made threats against me and others who've covered this, we all just laugh at it and just don't pay attention, ignore it. Most of it I just don't even pay attention to. Somebody sends me one of these threats and I say, who cares? They're not going to do anything about it. Notice their pattern. They only pick on women and children. And because of that, I'm neither a woman nor a child. Therefore, I don't feel intimidated by this. And as far as I know, this creator appears to be a man based on their voice, and I am making an assumption there, but that's the assumption I'm making here. I don't think he has anything to worry about. And I think even most women wouldn't have anything to worry about because they could beat up Johnny and Hank. They don't target men. They're scared of men. They're not going to do anything about it. So I think that coupled together is something where we're not going to see something come of this legally. Now, there can be consequences. What could happen? Well, we have seen Hank lost his gym membership because somebody reported him. Somebody showed the gym what he's doing and his actions and his threats and his online behavior. And because of that, he lost his gym membership. And I've talked about this before, but Hank is in school. Schools in Korea and everywhere care about their reputation. And schools in Korea can legally terminate you for damaging the reputation of the school. So therefore, if somebody was to find out his school, and mind you, it's very possible. I mean, there are neighbors of Hank that know where he is and know where he's going. If they were to report this to the school, they could pull his degree. They could kick him out. And beyond that, he'll never get a job in Seoul, South Korea. He'll never get a job in Korea at all, or most any developed country, because people can report this to his employers. He's essentially unemployable. He's going to be an unemployed loser for the rest of his life. That's his true crime. That's his criminal punishment. Non-criminal criminal punishment, if you get what I mean, is that he's unemployable, he's a loser, and he's always going to be somebody that has to be taken care of by his family. He's from a silver spoon, rich family in Korea, and they're going to have to feed him the rest of his life. That's his punishment. Yeah. Beyond that, his family is probably going to hear about this, and this isn't a good look for him. When mom finds out, Hank, and I know you're watching, Hank, when mom finds out you're making international death threats, do you think she's going to be proud of you? Do you think your family's going to be proud of you? No. You're an embarrassment. You're a black sheep. You're a loser, and you'll always be a loser. Because of that, guys, make sure you smash the like button to make Hank angry, and I will catch you on the next.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
I had to unfreeze it for just long enough for it to do that, because that's freaking amazing. Okay, pause that. Its punishment would be being disowned by his family, yeah, for real though. Okay, let's see here. Although I don't know that they will. Family is very important to Koreans. Vitali. Okay, so this is our third one. This is the third one. Vitali immediately jailed after granted bail. This is only 4 minutes long, but I mean, holy shit, is this true? How do you do that? How do you fuck up that badly?
Vitali was granted bail, but still is in jail in the Philippines. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquez, the legal mindset where we teach you to be your own judge. And I've been following the Vitali case from front to back. And this is a very interesting turn in this case, insofar as Vitali was seeking bail. He was seeking to get out and be released. Of course, bail is when you'll pay money in order to be released, and you're allowed to be out and about before your trial. However, Vitali was successfully granted bail and still ended up in jail. How did that work? Well, let's explain the overall situation. And of course, we have the article here. You can see this from the Manila Bulletin, where despite posting bail on criminal charges, Russian vlogger Vitali returns to the Bureau of Immigration for his deportation case. We could go through some of the facts in this article. Despite posting bail for the provisional liberty on his criminal...
So basically, like, okay, fine, you were released from this holding, but immigration still needs to hold you pending your case. So, yeah, I get it now. That's fucking funny. They got a bunch of money from him, though.
Criminal charges before the Taguig City Regional Trial Court, Russian vlogger Vitaly Zorvetsky has returned to the detention facility of the Bureau of Immigrations because he faces a deportation case. Even if he files for bail in his local case, he will still be returned to the custody of the BI. He will not be allowed to roam around as he is seen as an undesirable alien. That is a determination made by the Immigration Board that he is an undesirable alien, and undesirable aliens are presumptively kept in captivity. They're kept behind bars and not released in the wild, released out there for everybody. And mind you, that's 2 different jurisdictions. And what happened the other day on June 11th was the Bureau of Immigration actually transferred Vitali to the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, BJMP. So essentially imagine that immigration transferred him to the local system. And under the local system, you do have a right, particularly because he is charged with unjust vexation. With those charges, he had a right to request bail, and he was granted bail, because he had those charges against him. However, because of his determination in the immigration court, which, by the way, as we covered on this channel, already denied him bail. The immigration court has already said, no, Vitali, we're not going to give you bail. You are a flight risk. You are somebody we're not going to give bail. We don't want to give bail. Because of that fact, he's never going to be fully free. Now, this is very interesting. Why would Vitali post bail? Well, of course, he doesn't want to be behind bars. Of course, he wants to be let free. But beyond that, he probably was a little bit intimidated of the local jails. Those are a tougher environment. There's a lot more locals. There might be people messing with them. He would have to behave himself with the local posses, the local gangs in that particular jail. He would have to kind of keep his head low. And that's something he probably was mindful of in that local jail. So now he's back in the BI. And mind you, the local jail he was transferred to was one of the world's toughest prisons. So if you've seen the World Toughest Prisons show, the one that he was transferred to under the BJMP was an extremely harsh prison. This was one that was one of the toughest in the world. So now he's back in the BI facilities. Now he's back transferred in that. So he's with other deportees. So that's where he will presumptively remain and presumptively stay until his trial date. So until that trial date comes up, he's going to be in the BI. He's going to be sitting there. He's not going to be let go. That's already been denied. So this is going to be the fate of Vitali. Also, an interesting perspective is I've heard a lot of rumors of folks when they're talking about how much time he's going to get, etc. Right now, the maximum he faces is 18 months. And most people within the system and people that have been slipping me information here and there think about a year and a half is about accurate for Vitali. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that's sufficient? And what do you think about the jail situation? Let me know in the comments below. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Amazing way to end his videos. Alright, there we go. Alright, so that was the fastback. I sneezed, I had to mute it. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Woo! SteamOS is slaughtering Windows by Beliar News. And Microsoft knows it. This is a day ago, but apparently, and my dad's actually interested in this as well, because we have been wondering. Look, I don't like Windows, what is it, 11 that they're on right now? I'm still using Windows 10. I'm using, excuse me, hold on. Now way better. Okay, so I'm wondering, as a Windows 10 user who's literally gone into the registry editor to like just disable Windows Update and fucking Cortana and all the other bullshit, like as somebody who wants to remain on Windows 10 for as long as possible, I'm worried if SteamOS might not be a viable answer to my operating system problem.
And it's going to impact you. But to put it in the right context, I've got to start with a quote from Gabe Newell. This is back in 2012. He said then that Windows 8 was a catastrophe for PC. And he told the press that, of course, Microsoft, who are his former employer, that they needed competition, that they need there to be alternatives. And the good news is that now, 13 years later, they've got competition from Gabe. And now we are armed with new data. Concrete evidence that, like for like, SteamOS is superior, that it beats Windows. It's better in battery life, better performance, and this is all testing not on first-party devices, but on third-party devices, which is honestly massive. So here's the thing, right? As this operating system rolls out to more devices, it's then becoming a viable option for more and more users. What does that mean for Microsoft? It means legitimate competition. Microsoft evidently thinks they need to meet that challenge because now they are acting. But first, we gotta talk about SteamOS being available for everyone and just how good it is. There's another fun thing going on. Vercel's V0 and every no-code tool on Earth have empowered a whole generation of vibe coders. I'm sure you've heard the words. My editors are now making internal tools for our team that previously I need an engineer for. That's awesome, but there's a dragon. It's called Backend, and my sponsor boot.dev exists to help you slay that dragon. And I'm not even being cheesy.
No, I've never practiced law internationally.
Is all themed and built as a role-playing game. It's made by a gamer for fellow gamers, and it fits my weaknesses. Coming from C# game development and like my education and background, front end has always been kind of easy mode and intuitive, but wiring databases, doing auth, all that stuff feels like obscure wizardry. That's why I swear by boot.dev. Lane and the team have baked the fun of an RPG, so quests, XP, a guild-style Discord that is super active, into a curriculum that's laser-focused on serious back-end chops. So I'm talking about things like actually understanding data structures, API, auth flows, algorithms, Docker, the whole
Pretty
works.
much, yeah.
You'll
JP
build and deploy
Ravenfire
a
is
server
correct.
client, Pokedex, remake asteroids in Pygame. You'll even tackle job search preparation. Basically, as much fun as vibe coding can be, it does skip a bunch of steps that you really should take, and Boot absolutely sorts that. So no more tutorial hell, no more pricey bootcamp hustle stuff, just a structured path that turns all that vibe coding energy into viable engineering that you can actually depend on. And Boot keeps on adding features like, say, the searchable spellbook and constant new content drops, like, for an example, the massive TypeScript module. Pretty huge.
Wait,
and there's a hack to save you
Windows 10 update destroy your computer? How the fuck did that happen?
more money. If you go to boot.dev/bellytheirnews, code bellytheirnews gets you 25% off your first purchase. So buy the yearly plan for the largest saving, and if you don't gel with it, don't worry, because there's a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. The first domino to fall in today's story is the exciting one that SteamOS is officially live on third-party devices. So Valve just released the official build for the Lenovo Legion Go S. It's got SteamOS 3.7, and they've also improved it for other handhelds, specifically ones that are using AMD hardware. And what that means for us is fairly big. It means official evidence, because we can now compare how SteamOS performs against Windows on like-for-like hardware, with the only difference being different operating systems. And the good news is that things are looking really good for Gabe Newell's alternative. First off, though, I gotta state the obvious. So the Legion Go S is released 3 years after the Steam Deck, so it shouldn't be surprising that it does have better performance. And Valve have been clear enough about all of this, where basically they frame their device as a hardware baseline, where they're not super interested in hardware refreshes anytime soon. It seems their game plan is basically to expand the size of the market.
You know, I know how to, I could get Windows 10 on that. Too bad I'm not there, and I'm not in Germany, but I do like this, this PC that I built, the hard drive came preloaded with Windows 11. I'm like, fuck you. And I got my Windows 10 working on it.
Market by, funnily enough, allowing for lots and lots of competition by giving SteamOS out to other different vendors. But here's what actually makes the Legion Go S real unique. It's also available in the Windows version. That same hardware, different OS. And that means we can do pure OS level performance comparisons.
Oh,
and they're not good for Windows. The most prominent ones came from Dave2D, and his title pretty much, well, was music to my ears. I've long had an axe to grind against Windows. I'll put my biases up front. And in his video, you see better frame rates, you see better battery life, and it's all in specific comparisons between the two different OSs. And I think for most people in the handheld form factor anyway, the big winner is battery life, because in the less graphically intensive games, you essentially had 2 to 3 hours more playtime on SteamOS.
That's insane.
Now, essentially, right, if you are absolutely just maxing out your hardware, just completely going wild, you're going to drain both
if
of
you're
them
interested in my reaction to the video, I make some comments regarding anti-slap. disregard those. I stand corrected. It's a federal case because it's copyright. But Ethan more or less has a strong case. Here is the link. Hold on. Hey, none of that. What the fuck was that? Hold on. Autism 2. Here you go. I think a little over halfway through this stream, we actually react to the video. But there you go, Phoenix Fire.
But on a less intensive game, well, then you'll be putting the power usage strain in other things. As an example, like the operating system, and that's what we've got here. And it's not just Dave2D, the Virgin PC Gamer are also finding similar, and, well, it's like that across the board. Now, there's not magic here. It's not like SteamOS is literally doing the impossible. It still is very much handheld gaming console performance. You're not going to get 1080-60 out of the box immediately, but what you will have is, out of the box, an almost universally better time on SteamOS. And if you're wondering why, it's actually fairly simple. It's because SteamOS has been optimized at every level for this, even down to things like the sleep and suspend functionality working in a thoughtful way. And it's just all those little paper cuts that exist on, say, Windows 11 for handheld gaming, as I've experienced my ROG Ally. It's just those little paper cuts that make it a fairly shit experience. Now, of course, it's not doomed to be a shit experience forever. Like, adjusting the power draw and doing all of that stuff does actually get you quite a bit closer to SteamOS. I've had a lot of fun doing that in my ROG Ally, but look, if you want big mass market appeal, what you need is just for it to work better out of the box. That is what SteamOS is able to deliver, even on hardware not made by Valve. And while Windows 11 plus tweaking can get you part of the way there, it ain't SteamOS. Microsoft clearly knows that, and that's why they're trying to enter that market and actually give competition in a fairly big way. By now, it's fairly obvious that Microsoft agrees with those criticisms, or at least agrees or thinks that those criticisms will be a problem for them. And we know that because they've just unveiled the Xbox editions of the Asus ROG Ally. And what we're seeing in their approach is an attempt to address those problems directly. So, I'll explain the lay of the land here. You've got the base ROG Ally, then you've got the Ally X. Now, both of those use the same hardware framework as the existing ROG Ally. Now, this one has got one extra button, a little bit like an Xbox controller, and it replicates that device's functionality. But this is not only about hardware. And this is, I think, what matters a little bit more. The real story is how Xbox have adapted their firmware in response to SteamOS. The biggest change is the Xbox.
But I have seen plenty of government agencies also using Windows 7.
Full screen experience. Basically, Xbox say they worked with Asus to rebuild the operating system. Now, it still is Windows, right? So, you know, all the good and all the bad that comes with Windows is going to be there, but there are massive reductions in what the operating system actually does. Now, we got a little bit of clarity in that from Jason Beaumont, who's the VP of Experiences. He told The Verge, "We're not loading the desktop wallpaper, not the taskbar, none of those productivity processes for Windows." So basically, all the gumph, all the background stuff that maybe doesn't need to be done if all you care about is gaming is not going to be happening. You'll get fewer notifications, fewer pop-ups, all that stuff, which honestly sounds pretty good. Now, of course, the thing is, this device isn't actually out yet. We literally cannot run tests, but even now, right, which is a fair bit before this is coming out, which is basically like winter this year, right now they're taking 2 gigs of memory back from the OS, so that's very nice for games. They've also got power draw down, 1/3 apparently of the current desktop experience in sleep mode, and then there's actually using the device. So the new Xbox button lets you switch between apps. That's things like Discord, games, launchers, and then in the UI level, we've got this, which is the gaming library, and that really may be the killer app here. So in demos, the Xbox game app could launch any installed game. It would not matter where the game came from, right? So Steam, Battle.net, Xbox itself, all of those can just run from this launcher. Obviously, there's been things that have tried that before. As an example, GOG Galaxy, the idea of unifying everything under one launcher. There obviously were no real incentives for the various other different launchers to play nice with Galaxy. I imagine Xbox have got a little, just a little bit more clout there. But essentially their plan is a full console-like experience happening on one of these handhelds, not, say, SteamOS or, even worse, desktop Windows just being on a handheld. And on top of that, they're doing a few things that I think are clearly designed for mass market appeal. As an example, Roblox comes optimized for it, which may not be super important to you or me, but a terrifying number of people play that game. Also, Game Pass demos are baked in, and Microsoft are planning their own version of Verified for Deck, but basically for Windows handhelds. And it's all quite interesting, really, because this is actually a massive, massive shift. Just a few months ago, Windows Central were reporting that Microsoft's internally developed handheld was actually shelved. So it seems that was actually true, and instead they're leaning on their strength. Funnily enough, the soft that's in Microsoft. And that basically means operating system stuff for their partners like Asus. Essentially, it's them trying to play to their strengths, leverage the likes of Game Pass, and kind of use the fact that they're a really big company with a hell of a lot of games and, you know, quite a lot of bandwidth compared to a more lean outfit like Valve, and do everything they can to keep people from leaving their ecosystem. And that's where, well, there is a fundamental thing. This is Windows. Most things work in Windows. SteamOS is Linux, and not everything works with Linux. I've got to hit you with some context here.
Okay.
Here's May 2025 Steam hardware
thank you so
story,
much
and
for
it
the
really just tells the
hashtag.
story for us, because Windows is up at 95.45% of Steam users. That's a lot. And as much as the social media buzz would make you think people are abandoning Windows, no, Windows 11 actually grew by just under 0.5%. As for Linux, well, there is good movement there. It climbed to 2.69% this month. 2. So it's really not that much. But here's the reality here. So Arch Linux 64-bit basically represents SteamOS, and that is just about 0.27% of all hardware. And that is honestly where Steam is just absolutely goddamn mind-boggling. The scale is insane. They've got over 185 million, right? Million monthly active users. So of all of that, Steam Deck is only representing a tiny, tiny fraction of the total PC gaming market.
It's gonna
but
be that way for a
handhelds
while.
actually do tell a little bit of a different story. So according to The Verge and IDC data, 4 million Steam Decks have shipped. Now, if you compare that to the Windows handhelds, they're only 2 million total. So basically, Steam Deck is double the total of all of the Windows handhelds put together. And where it's interesting is, of course, on the strategic level. In the grandest scale, what does Gabe Newell literally want? I mean, he literally told us, right, back in like 2012, he wants more competition. And clearly that's operating system level competition, so he wants Linux to be more important. But obviously, if Linux is going to be an awful experience because your games won't run, then that won't happen. So they built SteamOS to accommodate Windows games. Obviously, they want to avoid the Mac OS problem, because on this thing, damn good hardware, right? But, you know, I go onto Steam and half my bloody library doesn't work. That's why, of course, Valve have Proton, so that Linux just works. But it kind of doesn't really, because there is a limit, and it does impact some of the largest games that are out there, and that's anti-cheat. It's a humongous problem. As an example, Fortnite, how many hundreds of millions of people are doing a Fortnite? Apex Legends, even games like Destiny, those games actively say they cannot support Linux, and the reason why is kernel level anti-cheat. Now, I still see in the comments of my videos people saying, no, I will never install kernel level anti-cheat. But the thing is, if you actually go to loads of those game communities, they can be ravaged by cheating. Before our anti-cheat got good, like literally driving droves of people away from these games. Now, of course, this ends up presenting a little bit of a problem for these companies, because if 96% of your audience uses one platform, you really don't need to cater to under 1%. And if you're Apex Legends, that's how you're going to think. And right now, that's how loads of these companies do actually think. But what we need to be careful about is not being all sour grapes about it, right? Because we could all just easily say, oh, we don't play those games. Those are big, mass market, normie games for silly normies. We're true gaming enthusiasts. Why does this matter to me? Yeah, you could say that. It's a bit sour grapes, but it's also strategically bad. I mean, literally, here's a quote from Gabe Newell. I think a lot of people in their thinking about platforms don't realize how critical games are. They're consumer drivers of purchase and usage. When he says that, he means all games, especially ones that are continually massive in Steam. And that extends perhaps especially to ones also played by more casual people. So for SteamOS to reach more than 1% of users, it's going to need to meet everyone where they actually are. That means it's going to need to support those massive, humongous behemoth games. That's basically where Microsoft do have a leg up, because all of those games, well, they run in Windows. And that means that if you want a gaming handheld, and you also want the peace of mind that the big games will be supported on the thing you're going to buy, you're obviously going to buy the Windows version. And that basically is Microsoft's big clapback to Steam, because Steam have obviously not been able to find some sort of, I don't know, magical proton for anti-cheat. I'm not a low-level engineer, but honestly, that sounds half impossible anyway. So, how's all this going to shake out? Well, SteamOS is right now something that I love, but it is an objectively small part of the overall PC audience. Overall PC audience. Yes, loads of people I know.
Like, I'm never going to, like, I don't see myself ever getting into handheld gaming. So, like, unless SteamOS has a version that I could run on my desktop, I don't see me, like, making use of SteamOS. Especially if it just focuses on handheld stuff. I'm not interested in that. But still, it is nice to see that Steam is, pulling off their gloves and going, hey, guess what? We're a competitor too. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we have... Here we go. This is, a little bit of weather. Posted... Oh, no, I didn't see it was that soon. Okay, I can't react to this. It's too soon. Sorry. But I can react to this one. So, let us react to this one. This one is called The Death of the 24-Hour America, Why Nothing Stays Open Late. This is by Cities by Deanna. And I will say, I do remember, even like in rural areas, like, well, where I used to live in Virginia, you could still, like, there was still a lot of places that were open late. Like, it could be 2 a.m. and you could go into 7-Eleven and grab yourself whatever. Even in a town of like 600 people, that was possible. But that's not really possible anymore. An hour ago, death up. Welcome, death to go. So sorry.
Up in the middle of the night, maybe you're having a bit of insomnia with nothing better to do.
You know what?
Do you ever
we were. Hey, simmer. Just simmer. There we go.
Do you ever just wake up in the middle of the night? Maybe you're having a bit of insomnia with nothing better to do and want to get out of the house. Or maybe you just got off work and aren't ready to go home yet. So you get in your car and go out to pick up a late night snack, hit the gym, or maybe get some grocery shopping done. It's peaceful out. You could beat the crowds and pass the time. Maybe it's a 7-Eleven or a pizza place or even a bookstore. There's gotta be something to do besides get drunk. But after driving around for a while, almost everything is closed. Didn't that place used to be open all night? Even some of the gas stations stopped selling gas at 7 p.m. Aside from a few bars and maybe a liquor store, downtown is dead. This is 11 p.m. on a Saturday night in Oakland, California, and it's a...
Yo, what the fuck? First of all, Oakland, California, that's a rough fucking place. I can understand everyone being in their beds by 11 p.m. in Oakland. Like, fuck that. But like, I guess our 7-Eleven's not open 24/7 anymore.
Ghost town. But this could be anywhere in the USA right now. It's like the whole country is afraid of the dark. What happened? Why does everything close early now?
Hey, I could use another cup of coffee.
Me too. Oh, let's stop for some.
Yeah, I need gas anyway.
When you stop at a Shell station, you get more than America's best-selling gasolines.
At Whataburger, when you're working late, so are we.
It's after midnight. You're hungry, and your stomach is talking to you.
What is 24/7?
24/7 is
24 hours a day,
7 days a week.
You can drive to Wendy's, where the pickup window is now open late.
There's a moment at night when all you want is fourth meal.
Because so many Shell stations are open 24 hours.
Yeah, look at all this.
There was a time when it seemed like everything was open late. In any little town in the middle of nowhere, you could walk around the 24-hour Walmart at 3 a.m. looking for nothing in particular. If you needed a random item and needed it fast, you knew you could rely on something being open to go pick it up. Now the best you've got is
Yeah.
Amazon Prime next day delivery, and only if you live in the city. If you live in a rural area, good luck. There used to be this little spot off of 19th Avenue in San Francisco called Irving Pizza. One night, way back in 2013, I was out late at a concert in Berkeley and my phone broke. And I missed the last BART train home and got stuck taking the all-night bus, which is slow and comes once an hour, if it even shows up. When I eventually made it back to the city, I realized that I was locked out, and it was 2 a.m. But lucky for me, Irving Pizza was open every night until 4. It gave me a place where I could safely be to sit down and eat a slice and wait for anyone to wake up in the morning and let me inside. That little pizza spot saved my ass from being stuck on the street in the middle of the night, and eventually I did get in. Granted, their other location is in a busy part of town, and it's still open late on weekends. But in the suburban west side of the city, places like that are rare now. That location is long since closed, but the business that took its place in that building closes at midnight now, and it's one of the latest
That
open
was
spots
not a
in the block.
driving sim of
And this
me.
trend is happening more and more as time goes on.
It's not.
And much of
You
it,
can't
like a lot of
stop
societal
it.
issues we've seen in recent years, stems back to 2020 and the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, I was going to say it was probably after the COVID pandemic. Things just decided not to stay open late anymore, for whatever reason. Those lockdowns were pretty tough on a lot of fucking companies. Here in Germany, 24/7 open was never a thing, except for maybe a few gas stations near the Autobahn. But guess what then? NWE let night shops copped up on the corners. Oh, interesting.
Seriously, the pandemic f***ed us all up. A lot. It was a collective
did.
trauma that society
did.
still hasn't fully recovered from. Stuck indoors all day and night, most people only left the house for essential trips.
Look, for most people, COVID was horrible. For me, it was just my everyday. I lived on a boat full time by then. And like, okay, COVID, I just freaking stayed on my boat.
Or if they were essential workers. This basically killed the economy for a while. With less overall customers, retail stores either closed altogether or deeply cut back hours to the bare minimum to stay profitable. In most cities and states, indoor dining was either outright prohibited or severely restricted. And what came in its place was takeout.
Yeah, I remember those
and of course,
restrictions.
delivery. Enter the holy trinity of Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub. During the pandemic, I was an essential worker in San Francisco. And by that I mean, I drove for Uber Eats all hours of the night. Business was booming. I made as much delivering food than I did at the office job I was laid off from. But with it, I started to notice a trend. You'd get an order and it'd be from some weird random restaurant you'd never even heard of. And you'd drive to the location and it would be in some office park or warehouse or somebody nobody would ever locate a damn pizza
that's
place.
fucking weird.
And then they would run 4, 5, maybe 10 different restaurants out of this single location. Ghost kitchens. They only exist in the apps, delivery only
Wait, what the
businesses,
fuck?
and they tend to run relatively
This
late
existed?
at night. So this put even more.
What the fuck? That is so weird. Did you have your swim trunks and your flippy flops? Always. I was considered an essential worker. Okay. But seriously, so you had just like 3 or 4 quote-unquote restaurants just chilling in the same building, in the same kitchen, just operating with the delivery. Wow, that's so fucking weird. I mean, I guess I've never lived in a big city, so I've never like seen that. But that's just bizarre to me.
More pressure on the average local sit-down diner. And as the pandemic began to wane a little bit, those ghost kitchens did not go away. That's just one factor out of many. The cost of living has skyrocketed. Rent, supplies, labor costs, all of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of workers were hesitant to risk their lives to come in the middle of the night for minimum wage. And small businesses already facing tight margins couldn't afford to pay them more. So what do? You cut hours and focus on the daytime crowd. Fast food too. A lot of McDonald's and Taco Bell locations used to keep their inside lobbies open relatively late, if not 24 hours in some places. But when COVID hit, most of them became drive-through only, and a lot still are. And if they are open again, it's usually only during the day and early evening, and it's become harder and harder to.
My dad's great uncle was captain of the 4 master Padua, nowadays called Kristenstern, had also a few salient trips in the north and in the Baltic Sea. Oh, that's where I've never been able to sail that end of the planet. I've always wanted to sail the Baltic Sea. In the north, I also wanted to go down south and sail the Mediterranean a little bit. But no, most of my sailing has been East Coast. I did the I crossed the Atlantic. I did the Northwest Passage. And I've done California, and I've done like in most of the Chesapeake Bay.
To find a 24-hour drive-through these days. Let's not forget about retail. Another industry hollowed out by the pandemic. Brick and mortar stores had already been suffering, but this was accelerated as most were not deemed essential, and places like grocery stores often had to limit the number of customers to come in at a time due to social distancing regulations. And like the restaurants, they faced strong competition from e-commerce.
Yeah,
in particular,
in the town that I would go to when I would go to shore to get food, there was a couple grocery stores where they would only let one member of a family or a household actually enter the store at a time in order to keep down the total number. And there was also like people at the door who would like keep count of how many people were in the store, and only after so many left would they let in that same number of people. So yeah, it was pretty intense, especially in some places. Mexico was also pretty bad. Because I did a lot of Sea of Cortez sailing as well.
Sites like Amazon, Temu, Shein, and even Walmart heavily invested into the online shopping experience. When you can order almost anything you need from the comfort of your own home and have it.
Yeah, and that's another thing too with the like online shopping. Like Walmart, in like Albertsons and other places like that, they now actually have they invested in actual infrastructure where they put up signs on like the most convenient parking spots in the entire parking lot and said, oh, this is for online shoppers only. And so this definitely, especially after COVID, these companies, they invested in actual infrastructure to support the online shopping craze.
Delivered to you within the next couple of days? Why bother even going out unless you already are out? And once cities opened back up and return to office became a thing for white-collar workers, they were mostly out and about during the day. When your business is already struggling to stay competitive in such an environment and late night has always seen lower demand, cutting hours is a no-brainer. When remote work was more prominent, many folks moved out of their apartments near the job centers and into larger homes in the suburbs where you could get a little more space at a better price. This devastated many downtowns, which already relied heavily on the foot traffic of office workers during the day and even for the after-work happy hour. It was especially bad in San Francisco, but it's a national trend. With this, businesses closed, large chains like Forever 21 and Macy's closed their downtown locations, and this created what some called a doom loop, where the inner city basically died. And with it came increased crime, the cost of living brought homelessness, and drug use spiked. It was a bad time to be out at night. The urbanist Jane Jacobs wrote in her 1961 book, The Death and Life of Great American Cities, of the concept of eyes on the street, which in a nutshell states that the more people you have going about their lives, working, shopping, frequenting bars and restaurants and everything else, the less likely there is to be crime. She called it national surveillance, which admittedly sounds a little creepy. But to Jane Jacobs, public safety was not just the responsibility of the police force, but all of us in the community. And by having thriving 24...
Well, that theory is kind of like, for those who want like a modernized approach to that philosophy, is broken window theory, popularized by The Walking Dead, but a little bit older than that. It's just broken window theory.
For our cities, we all acted as informal watchdogs, keeping an eye on each other. And when you remove those eyes from the streets, what takes its place is not fun for anybody. Without the built-in surveillance of a vibrant community, cities and businesses within them rely more and more on heavy-handed methods.
Hate cities.
The other night, it was around 11:30 p.m., and I wanted to go to Safeway to pick up some groceries. The location I went to its credit, is open till midnight. So I parked in the parking lot and got this footage. And while I was sitting there in my car, getting ready to go in, an extremely loud voice yelled out at me,
Yo, Ohana. Ohana meets family. Family meets no smoke gets left behind.
Me to stop trespassing and that they'd called the police.
You are trespassing.
Holy shit. So I got in my car and I've been
What the
filming
fuck?
B-roll footage because I'm going to do the video on why everything closes early. So I wanted like footage of like nighttime stuff that's closed. And I went to Safeway. The Safeway like in Piedmont, like right on the like Oakland Piedmont border.
Holy
And I parked
shit,
in the
they
parking
just
lot. And
fucking...
Safeway is still open, by the way. And I get on my camera and I'm just like filming like shot of like a shopping cart in the parking lot. Like,
Well, I mean,
do,
you're
right?
loitering.
And all of a sudden, over the loudspeaker, this voice says, "You are trespassing. Please leave the area. You're being recorded." And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Safeway's still open. Like, I was gonna go in there and like actually buy something. That just proves my point. Things close early. They treat everybody that's out at night like they're a criminal. There was no way I was going to shop at that Safeway after that experience. And on the drive home, I was followed by 2 police cars, simply for minding my own business and staying in my car in the parking lot a little longer than they deemed was acceptable. This criminalization of simply being in a space at night, even during business hours, creates within both law enforcement and the broader culture a perception that nothing worth happening happens after dark. That if you're out late, you must be up to no good. And this obviously is not true. Some people work overnight shifts at hospitals or in warehouses or as firefighters or Uber drivers. Work still gets done in the late night hours, and the people who work those shifts deserve to be able to participate in society as much as the next person. And regardless, if you're out at night, that doesn't necessarily mean you're bad. It just means that you like to be out at night. I went to 7-Eleven because it's still kind of light outside. It's like 8:30. And look at my haul here. I got me some pistachios. Some wasabi almonds. Some of that Modesto Blue Diamond almonds.
Oh my god.
And, of course, a Red Bull. Sugar-free, because I've stopped drinking sugary drinks. And I finally adjusted to sugar-free. It is starting to get dark, and I was like in the parking lot, and it said, "Thank you for visiting 7-Eleven. This parking lot is being video recorded." It's like a tiny, tiny little parking lot. Like, it's so small. They really close this 7-Eleven hella early now. It used to be open 24 hours. I remember coming here, middle of the night, riding my bike. I used to do late night bike rides around the lake here.
Yeah, I used to work the graveyard shift all the time.
Yeah, you could go anytime. It would be open. Now, it closes at like 9, 10 p.m. So, I got here right before it closed. This particular 7-Eleven started closing early for a number of reasons. Crime was a big one. It's a sad fact of life that robberies do happen more often at night when there are less people around to witness them. But this is in a vibrant, busy urban area with a lot of dense housing nearby, and it's not a particularly bad neighborhood either. But pretty much everything within a few blocks closes up at 9, 10, or 11 p.m. at the very latest. Most places close a lot earlier. So what do the people who actually live in these areas like to do at night? Well, they're scrolling TikTok or Instagram Reels, listening to Spotify instead of going out to concerts, chatting with friends online, using ChatGPT as their therapist, or they're going to bed early. We've become homebodies with infinite options for every aspect.
Using ChatGPT as your therapist? Nobody do that. That does not sound good.
Of life, from entertainment, shopping, dining, love and romance, culture, and friendship, all in the palm of our hands, there's less incentive to actually get out on the town and do something. And if people aren't out, the businesses don't have a reason to stay open. It's cultural as much as it is economic. And if you're going to bed at 10 p.m., why would you want to get a job working at 7-Eleven overnight? Businesses have had trouble staffing late night shifts in recent years, which in turn leads to late night hours being cut. Public transit in most cities has reduced or even no service hours after dark. And when less people are taking that transit, when it's time to cut the budget, reducing or eliminating late night service seems like the least harmful option. When we treat the people who inhabit the night like criminals, it only makes the night safe for criminals. And to a cop or a security camera, when you treat just existing outside...
Yeah, Jason Archer, I can see that being the truth. 7-Elevens around me keep getting robbed. Wawa's too. I work overnight at a Wawa gas station, and it's wild. I can imagine.
Dark as if it is a crime, you're gonna see a lot more crime. It's all a self-reinforcing cycle. The other night, I was driving around town, and I came upon a gas station, a typical Chevron. And when I went to fill up my tank, I realized that not even just the store was shut, but the pumps themselves were disabled after 7 p.m. Even though this particular gas station closed up early, it's not like that everywhere in town. There still is a good deal of vibrant nightlife in a city like Oakland. But like many cities, gentrification and higher housing costs have made it harder and harder to afford a night out. And the younger generations are going out less, drinking less, and clubbing less. And that's not all bad. But the nighttime doesn't have to be scary or full of crime. We need viable late night options beyond just nightclubs, liquor stores, drive-thrus, and bars. We need late night libraries, cafes, restaurants, and shopping malls. Will we get them? Not if we don't use them. We need safer streets, and that doesn't always come from just putting up security cameras, increasing police patrols, and criminalizing everything. It comes from a community that cares for each other and keeps each other accountable to one another, something that our modern tech-driven culture has seemed to have lost. We treat each other and the space we live in like it's disposable. So maybe this is what we wanted all along. No more awkward small talk with a cashier or 3 a.m. pizza run. Just calm and quiet inside, in bed early, checking our notifications until we crash out alone once again.
Well, Jesus. I mean, I can make that a little happier. Sounds like an extrovert's opinion on it. Okay, so we have this other one here, and this one's from a while ago, 6 hours ago. What? Whoops, no, this isn't the right one. Well, we can't do this one. Sorry. Shit. Alright, well, that's everything that I add. Here, let me see, let me see if, there we go. Okay, let me check my Discord. See if we have anything here. You can react to this. Oh, what's this? Visit. 35 minutes. Oh my god, what happened? 2 years ago. Okay, hold on. Did you react to Vitali? Oh, I did not. That would be a good one. Hold on. That would be a good one. Okay, here we go.
It appears that Vitali has changed Philippine law. Yes, that is Vitali, the nuisance streamer who's been locked up in the Philippines pending trial for several crimes due to his nuisance streaming. Of course, it's a legal mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, and we've got a new news story on today's Fast Facts, a shorter version that gets you the quick and dirty facts that you need to know about these situations. So, we, of course, have been covering the case of Vitali over in the Philippines as he's been locked up, as he's been pending trial for unjust vexation and perhaps other claims and causes. He has now been transferred from the Bureau of Immigration to the BJMP to a more local system. So that's one really, really big update. But now we have information that he may indeed be changing the law. And how did he change the law? Well, we know that with nuisance streamers, recording others is a big issue. And we now have, and this is courtesy of GMA, an update from the National Privacy Commission of the Philippines saying vloggers must blur bystanders in posts under new NPC guidelines. So to explain real quick, whenever you have nuisance streamers, whenever you have these content creators, the IRL streamers, they are capturing many other people other than themselves in these videos, including vulnerable people, children, disabled people, elderly, people that they have absolutely zero permission or consent to record, and they're using him for clout, for profit, and even to mock those people that really can't defend themselves. These are people that they are monetizing actively. And they're saying, hey, no, this is something that's got to change. So let's look over at the article and then we'll do a little analysis here. So vloggers are now required to mask images of bystanders in their post under the new guidelines of the National Privacy Commission. NPC Circular number 2501 on the guideline on the producing of personal data collected using body-worn cams aims to establish protocols for the protection of data subjects' data in their
to do with the First Amendment because this is in the Philippines. So America's First Amendment rights has no application to what a foreigner or a nuisance streamer does in a foreign country that they're not even a member of.
Their data's privacy rights. In an interview, the director said that the circular covers police officers, private security, and even vloggers. Vloggers are required to use the available technology that can mask the images of bystanders, especially children and other vulnerable individuals. So they have to go ahead and blur those people. They also should have an appropriate private notice on all their social media. Vloggers are further required to ensure transparency and provide accurate information to the data subjects prior to the commencement of any video recording activity. Nevia noted that the recorder must convey to the subject the data being recorded in an understandable language. So you have to get permission. You're having to get consent before you do this.
Yeah.
The recording of the subject or bystander must also not be unduly oppressive. Violators may face criminal, civil, and administrative charges pursuant to the Data Privacy Act. That is what I like to see, and this is what we need when we're talking about enforcement against nuisance streamers, whether it's Vitali, the Johnny Somalis of the world, or the other nuisance streamers out there. What we want to see is criminal consequences, things that can not only get them deported, but perhaps give them some time behind bars, or perhaps get them blacklisted from the country so they cannot come back for a certain period of time or forever. And this is a great way to do it with existing data privacy acts. And Philippines is not the only country with a Data Privacy Act. In fact, many other countries have very strong data privacy acts, especially in East and Southeast Asia, Japan, Korea, Thailand, Indonesia. There's plenty of data privacy acts out there that can be interpreted in a more stringent manner and can be used to cut off this form of streaming. And I think this could be a very, very good thing. Now, I know some people may be worried about overreach, but once again, what is this asking for? This is asking for simply protecting the vulnerable individuals out there and asking for consent. And I find absolutely no problem with either of those. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think these rules are fair? What do you think's going on with this? And what do you think's going to happen in the Vitali case?
I think as long as it's enforced fairly.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
You guys know where that's from. All right, let us check real quick. Check it. Choo-choo. What?
These free content creators, as smaller content creators, may have negotiated.
So I was just given something. It's only a minute long. Hold on, let me bring it up. It was posted to me by the Under the T Discord. But the Laura he shown said something interesting. It says that Ethan offers amnesty to any past or current H3 Snark moderators. Dropped a clip of a lawyer talking about discovery. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is Lust. I know him.
As smaller content creators may have negotiated, interacted with the H3 Snark mod, right? Based on how much the H3 Snark subreddit loves them, they may have interacted with them in a way that they were interacting with a person's real name. And in discovery, Ethan Klein is entitled to all of that, who knows what the percentage is, but I'm fairly certain that at least one of these moderators, who was a huge fan, let's say, of Denin's, probably interacted with Denin's using his real email, using his real name. When they interacted with me, only one interaction, they did use their first name. And I'm a complete stranger to them. I've never interacted with the subreddit. I've never talked to them. I've never responded to email. When discovery hits, you have to turn it over anyway. So if there ever is a text message with a phone number or an email, or, God forbid they were using Facebook Messenger where it has your full name on it and the company you work at, God forbid they use LinkedIn. I kind of wish I could go back in time, help them out a little bit, and told them, you got to stop promoting these free people.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of hindsight, though. What can you do about hindsight, really? Let us go back to my server for video suggestions. We have enough time, it looks like, for one more. For uno más, por favor. Macabre project, we will re-add to that one next stream. That's too soon. McNally's first win, proven in early loss of prevention agencies. That's too soon. I recognize that, but that's too soon. Eagle Claw. Why it's impossible to manufacture in America. What's this?
I wanted to make this video today because I just saw a fantastic video.
13 days ago, okay. Oh, it's talking about terrorists and stuff. I don't feel like ripping open that Band-Aid right now. Okay, let's try instead this. You know what? I'm gonna do something here. It's been a hot minute, but like we could ask for is our daily dose of Vanner. The clip is always funny. Yes, she used dark magic. Dark magic. Actually, we have 2 daily doses. Yeah, 2 daily doses. Here we go.
Hello everyone, this is your daily dose of internet. This dumb driver got mad at this biker for being in the correct lane.
What the fuck? No, we gotta go back. I'm sorry, we gotta go back. Somebody save Elmo.
Hawk tour.
That was a hot tour. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that looked painful.
This poor guy really thought he was getting orders from the police.
Put your hands in the air. Back down on your knees. What's your name? Jack.
This is how they train dogs to use their noses to smell for cancer. This particular dog is being trained to smell for breast cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer, and colon cancer.
Oh, that's interesting as hell.
A big section of Toronto lost their power a few days ago, and this is what it looked like when it turned back
Oh,
on.
Tara, thank you for being a member for 2 months. Hey, yo. Whoa!
Back to life.
This baby sheepdog
That was
is scared of
wild.
sheep.
Why are you scared of sheep? Ah! That's so stupid! You have one job! You have one job! Oh, what you got? You have nothing.
They were releasing this bird that got stuck in this person's chimney.
Yeah. This is our 10th bird
in the last week. We've just got out. There he is.
Hey, you got kicked. Oh, okay. Look, there's too many. Okay, yeah, I was gonna tell you right now. Those aren't even pilots. Those are not like even appropriate pilots. There's almost nothing really supporting this deck. Way too many people.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, that's what
oh my
happens.
god!
She loves eating spicy
That's what
foods,
happens.
even if it means suffering through it.
Whoa, hey. What the Oh, hey.
His DoorDash delivery bag was seen driving around in Miami.
What in this?
How did you see it? That is hilarious.
This cat does not approve of the use of black magic.
Hello. What in the world? What? That's so weird.
This woman had a virtual court hearing and thought it'd be a good time to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
You just showed me a paper, Miss Outerbridge. That
Yes, I
said
did.
you-
Right.
Miss Outerbridge.
So when I called,
No, we can't talk at the same time.
well, I apologize for being late. Excuse me.
Stop whatever you're trying to prepare now.
It's fucking making a sandwich. No.
Bubby. Bub. Oh my god, that
Dude,
is crazy.
Bubby's done.
Bubby!
Are you gonna eat your fries? Good, Bubby's
You want
done.
some ice cream?
Oh, pizza. This is in Big Dorado. Oh, you got
Can someone please tell me what kind of food this is?
Whoa, somebody broke it. Nice. There it goes. Oh no, oh no, oh no. That did not look fun. Okay, he's okay.
These thieves were trying to steal this guy's truck.
What, while he's in it? Oh my god, you're right. Holy shit. You failed. You failed really bad. Oh, Jesus. Much, you just want to write.
I found this really old video of this delivery guy that was having the time of his life.
Damn, look at this guy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. Oh, good key. Hey, no, don't eat it. Ow! You just...
I feel like car engines aren't supposed to move like this.
What? Bumbo clock. What again?
No, oh, no.
Yo,
oh,
yo.
no, somebody
Nobody
shot
do
Sparky.
no more that.
Sorry.
Somebody shot... Oh, that... Oh, no.
Ready? You ain't got the speed to me.
Wait. Give it time. Give it time. Wait.
What?
No, it's not.
This worker was showing off his amazing data entry skills. The worker says that he's been doing this for over 30 years and can type at over 80 words per minute.
Holy shit! Look at him go! Oh my god, that's fucking horrifying. Nice.
Did you just do that?
That's pretty good. Oh no, what are you doing? What? Oh, are you sharp? Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Man.
He asked his son where his phone was, and he claimed that he didn't know.
Yeah, I couldn't find my phone, so I asked my son, hey, where's my phone? He talking about, I don't know. Boy.
Every single year, Brisbane, Australia has a pretty crazy plane show.
Yo!
You've got to be kidding me.
Oh my god, oh my god.
They use a special type of saw to remove a cask without hurting the skin.
Look, won't cut me. It can't cut me. It just wiggles. Wow. You're so brave. Yeah, this will open it up for us.
So, in case you didn't know, we actually have different sized dandelions here in Chicago area. So this is what a regular dandelion looks like, right?
Regular?
But we also have these giant dandelions that look like this. They're huge.
What the fuck?
That is the end of this video.
Yeah,
Hopefully I
that's a
made your
different
day
species.
just a little better. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Later.
Yes, yes, yes. Hold on. We have another one. One more. Uno más.
Hello everyone, this is your daily dose of internet. So I guess she instantly froze his beer by using magic.
Oh no, that's a pretty simple chemical reaction. Yeah, that's very simple.
These paintballers are getting ready to sprint out in a battle.
Oh shit, this is... Oh my god.
뭔데? 점프. 점프하래.
I don't know about that. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
This has to be the loudest bottle opening of all time.
Oh gosh, this is amazing. Ah, holy shit!
Exactly how.
This magician was testing out a
Wow,
new
skill.
special effect for one of his shows.
Oh no.
He met his baby brother for the very first time.
Oh, that's cute.
Okay, all done.
Oh no, oh
Her
no,
dog had a
don't.
feeling that something was about to happen.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
He was super confident that his truck could handle the weight.
This, no, 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 oh my god. Why does anybody think that? Why would anybody think that? Why?
He was super...
Look at this. Do you look at that? Do you look at this rock? And do you... With a pallet? Like a fucking pallet? This isn't gonna work. Dude, your axle is gonna be absolutely destroyed. Like, dude. Here we go.
confident that his truck could handle the weight.
Yeah, well, he's fucking dumb.
More. Curl the bucket. There you go.
Oh, he's gonna put you in.
They
Yeah,
started
there it is.
celebrating a little too early. It's really important that you don't forget to prep your turkeys. This has to be the coolest Harry Potter wand. Her legs cramped up and she couldn't finish, so a competitor stopped by to help out.
Oh no! Oh no, poor girl!
Doncs vinga, l'Aina, que s'esperarà per ajudar-la. I aquí la tenim. Andana Meta, Escoladòter i Aina Cinca.
No! Kitty! Oh, there. Oh, yeah. Oh, whoa, hey, what? That was impressive. So what's gonna happen here?
So I guess this is what some funerals look like in Ghana and West Africa.
Hey, yo!
Oh.
Oh,
The driver had no idea that his truck was leaking concrete onto the road.
I'm sorry. I gotta see that one more time. That cat came in so fucking fat. Look at him go.
Oh.
The driver had no idea that his truck was leaking concrete onto the road.
Oh no. Dude, oh no. Oh Jesus. Yeah? Yeah? Okay, get away from that. It's gonna. Oh! What? Is he just eating raw meat?
She had a feeling that she was talking to an AI representative, so she decided to try and trick it.
If you have any questions or need assistance, feel free to let
So
me
wait, what's your name?
know. My name is Nicole.
When's your birthday?
I don't have a birthday like a real person would.
Again, cats. Hey, we gotta make sure that AI fails the Turing test as much as possible. The Turing test is much a test on AI as it is on humanity, okay? Stay smart. Whoa, what the fuck? Look at that!
When it's finally
so
warm
pretty.
enough, cows in Sweden come out of their barns to see the grass for the first time in months.
Oh, look at him go. They're all happy and shit. That's so cute.
They somehow train their other cat to help out.
That's actually impressive.
This pilot couldn't come in for a landing because these two giraffes were standing on it.
Oh, god damn it. Dude, there's giraffes. What the hell, man? Yeah, sorry, biplane. You gotta go back. What the fuck?
Are you being a nosy neighbor?
Damn! They put this glove in a vacuum and try to suck out all the air to see what would happen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's gonna pop. What? Sorry. We have to go back. What the fuck just happened? I was gonna say, it would just pop, but then everything exploded.
Damn! They put this glove in a vacuum and try to suck out all the air to see what would happen.
How? Okay, so normal.
The end.
So I guess cats really hate the sound of tape.
Yeah, some cats don't like it.
The amount of pollen that came off this tree is kind of crazy.
Oh no. Oh, Jesus, look at all that plant stuff.
Her child was upset because she was safely waiting for traffic to clear up before going on the road.
I cannot go. No. I can't go yet. I have to wait.
Oh my god, that's adorable.
I can't go. If I go now,
he wants
we're
to
gonna get
die.
It took a few seconds for me to realize why this video was so impressive.
Holy shit! How the hell? Yeah, that's what light Winston. Listen, Magnafox, listen. Magnafox, listen. That's pretty much what Fallen is. Prove me wrong.
This bird was walking on a golf course and realized that golf balls are actually really bouncy.
Oh, that's adorable.
Lifeguards are learning that drones are a perfect tool to help people that might be drowning.
This is just silly. You guys having fun? That's a lot of static.
So why is this so satisfying to watch?
Yo, what is happening? Oh, that was cool.
That is the end of this video. Hopefully I made your day just a little better.
That was
and
great.
I will see you guys again very soon. Later.
That was very good. Alright, thank you all for coming to react to content with me for the last couple hours. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell as hard as you possibly can, and we will see you all on the next one.
Michael, you have to take responsibility here. One of your employees had a heart attack. He could have died because of the way you're allowing your office to run. Do you want that on your conscience?
Do you?
Michael?
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
What?
Ooh, we can have a little bit of long bottom leaf. Hmm? You don't need to think about all that. We don't need to think about all that harsh stuff. The world is changing, but the Shire will always remain the same. I won't forget this.